Ram makes a profit of 30% by selling an article. What would be the profit percent if it were calculated on the selling price instead of the cost price? So in the given question, Ram earns a profit of 30% on selling the article. So his profit is 30%. Now a 30% profit would mean 30 by 100 or simply 3 by 10. If my cost price is 10, my profit will be 3. And eventually my selling price will be 10 plus 3. That is, my selling price equals to rupees 13. Now in the question, they have asked to find the profit percentage on the selling price. So my profit percentage will be my profit by my selling price into 100. This is my profit percentage. On calculating, we find 300 by 13. On dividing, we'll get 2s are 26, 3s are 39. We're left with 1 by 13%, which is 23.1%. So our answer is C. A cot was marked for 15,000 but sold for 13,500. What was the discount offered on it? In the given question, we know that the marked price of the cot was 15,000. So, my marked price equals to 15,000. And the next information given is that my selling price is 13,500. The selling price equals to 13,500. We need to find the discount percentage. So, in order to find the discount percentage, we first need to find the discount amount. So, my discount amount is my marked price minus my selling price, that is 15,000 minus 13,500, which gives us rupees 1,500. Now, further, we have to find the discount percentage. So, my discount percentage is equal to my discount by my marked price into 100. 1,500 tens are 15,000, 10 tens are 100. So my discount percentage is 10% and my answer is C. The selling price of a mobile phone is rupees 59,620 and it was sold at 8.4% profit. The cost price of the mobile phone is. In the given question, we have to find the cost price of the phone where the selling price is rupees 59,620 and the profit percentage is 8.4%. Assuming I bought the phone at rupees 100. So my cost price becomes rupees 100. And considering the profit percentage given in the question is 8.4, my profit amount will be 8.4% of 100 rupees, that is rupees 8.4. And then my selling price becomes my cost price plus profit, that is rupees 108. Next, in the given question, they have already mentioned that my selling price is 59,620. So my cost price will be my selling price, that is 59,620 divided by my assumed selling price, that is 108.4 into 100 or my assumed cost. On dividing 59,620 by 108.4, we get 550 and then it comes down to rupees 55,000, which is option B. So my answer is option. A shopkeeper allows 28% discount on the marked price of an article and still makes a profit of 20%. If he gains rupees 3,080 on the sale of one article, then what is the selling price of the article? So in this question, they have told us that the shopkeeper earns a 20% profit. That is, profit is 20% even after giving a 28% discount. His gain amount is given as 3,080 rupees. Assuming that he bought the article at rupees 100. So my cost price is rupees 100. And when the profit is given as 20%, so my profit amount will be 20% of 100, that is rupees 20. And then my selling price becomes rupees 100 plus 20, that is rupees 120. Now, given in the question, we know the profit percentage is 20 and the amount of gain is rupees 3080. That means 20% of profit is equals to rupees 3080. Then my selling price will be rupees 3080 into 6. Why multiply by 6? Now, if you see, my selling price is 6 times my profit. So, if my gain amount is 3080, my selling price will be 6 times that amount. So, 3080 into 6 gives me 48 and 18. So, my answer is 18,480, which is option C. By selling a fridge for 18,200, Anu loses 15%. Find the cost price of the fridge. So, the selling price of the fridge is given as 18,200 and the loss incurred is 15%. So, let's assume that the cost price of the fridge is 100%. And considering the loss is 15%, my selling price will then become 100% minus 15%, that is 85%. If 85% costed rupees 18,200, cost of 100% will be 18,200 divided by 85% into 100%. Now, on dividing this, we get 85 2s are 170, 1s are 85, 4s are 300 and 1 1. So, the amount comes down to 21,411, which is option B. A trader sells an article for rupees 425 and loses 15% profit. So, a trader is selling an article for rupees 425 and he incurs a loss of 15%. At what price should he sell the article to earn a 5% profit? So, we need to find the price at which he sells the articles in order to earn a 5% profit. So, let's assume that the cost price is rupees 100. And considering there is a loss of 15%, that means selling price is less than the cost price. So, my selling price becomes 100 minus my loss, that is 15% of 100, rupees 15. And now my selling price becomes rupees 85. Now, in order to earn a 5% of profit, we need to sell it at what price? So, 425 by 85 into 105. Now, where did we get 105? It is simply your cost price plus the profit amount you want to earn, that is 5% of 100 plus rupees 100. So, on dividing this, we get 85 5s are 425 and 105 into 5 gives us rupees 525. So, the answer is D. A sold a mobile phone to B at a gain of 25% and B sold it to C at a loss of 10%. If C paid rupees 5,625 for it, how much did A pay for the phone? So, in the given question, let's assume that the selling price and cost price. In the given question, let's assume that the cost price when A bought the phone is rupees 100. So, A pays 100 rupees for it. Now, it is said that A sells the phone to B at 25% profit. So, a 25% profit on 100 rupees will be 25 rupees. Then my selling price becomes rupees 125, which is also the cost price for B. Now, B further sells the phone at 10% loss. So, my 10% loss on it will be rupees 12.5, and then the selling price for B becomes 112.5, which also becomes the cost price for C. Now, the question has already mentioned that C pays rupees 5,625 for the phone. So, how much will A pay? A pays 5,625 divided by our assumed cost price that C pays into our assumed cost price that A pays. So 112.5 into 50, which comes down to rupees 5,000. So our answer is option A. A fruit vendor recovers the cost of 95 oranges by selling 80 oranges. What is his profit percentage? So let's assume that the cost price of one orange is 1 rupee. So the cost price of 80 oranges will be rupees 80. That is 80 into 1. Now, the vendor recovers the cost of 95 oranges. So the cost of 95 oranges will be rupees 95. 95 into 1. So my selling price will be rupees 95. Now, what is my profit amount? Profit then comes to rupees 15, that is 95 minus 80. So my profit is rupees 15. And then my profit percentage is rupees 15 by my cost price 80 into 100. On dividing by 5, we get 316. So 300 by 16 gives us 18.75%. So our answer is option C. A woman sold her earphone for rupees 2,000 and got a percentage profit equal to the numerical value of the cost price. The cost price of the earphone is. Let the cost price be X. Cost price equal to X. If there was a profit of X percentage, then the selling price must be X into 100 plus X by 100. Now, according to the question, X into 100 plus X by 100 is equal to 2,000. On solving this, we get 100x plus x square equals to 2 lakh. 2,000 into the 100 that went that side becomes 2 lakh. Now, instead of solving further, we could use these options given, put them in place of x and see if both sides match. Let's start off with 500. So 100 into 500 is 50,000. 50,000 plus 500 square is 2,50,000. Now the total is equal to 3 lakh, which is not matching with the other side. So if 500 is not an option, 600 will also not be an option. Let's check for option D. 400 square equals to 2 lakh. 100 into 400 is 40,000. And 400 square is 1,60,000, which is equal to 2 lakh. 40,000 plus 1,60,000 is 2 lakh. So my answer is option D. By selling 25 meters of a cloth, a trader gains by 5 meters. Then trader's profit in percentage is. So let the selling price of 1 meter of the cloth be rupee 1. So the selling price of 25 meters of the same cloth will be rupee 1 into 25, that is rupees 25. Now he gains by 5 meter of the selling price. So his gain will be 5 meters, that is 5 into 1, rupees 5. Then the cost price will be my selling price minus the gain, that is equal to rupees 20. Now we have to find the profit in percentage. So my profit percentage will be my profit by my CP into 100. 5 equals to 25%. So my answer is option A. On selling 17 balls at rupees 720, there is a loss equal to the cost price of 5 balls. The cost price of a ball is, let's assume that the cost price of one ball is X rupees. So the cost price of 17 balls will be 17X. Now there was a loss equal to the cost price of 5 balls. So the cost price of 5 balls will be 5X, and therefore loss is equal to 5X. Now as we know, loss is equal to cost price minus selling price. That is 5X equals to cost price, that is 17X minus 720 rupees. On calculating further, we get 12X equals to 720 and X equals to 720 by 12, that is 60 rupees. So the option D is our answer. Kamal purchases 80 articles for 11,180 and sells them at a loss equal to the selling price of 6 articles. What will be the selling price of one article? So in the given question, they have mentioned that Kamal purchases 80 articles for rupees 11,180 and then he sells them at a loss equal to the selling price of 6 articles, which means the cost price of 80 articles is equal to the selling price of 86 articles. Now bringing it into the ratio of cost price is to selling price, we get CP by SP is equal to 86 by 80. On dividing by 2, we get 43 by 40. Now we have to find the selling price of one article. So the selling price of one article is equal to the cost price of one article, that is 11,180 divided by 80 into the reciprocal of the CP is to SP ratio, that is the reciprocal will be 40 by 43. So 42 is 80, 2 divides it by 5, 5590. On dividing 5590 by 43, we get 43 ones are 3s are 129 and 0. So rupees 130. So the answer for this question is option A, that is rupees 130. A man bought toffees at 3 for a rupee. How many toffees for a rupee must he sell to gain 50%? So in the given question, a man bought 3 toffees for a rupee. So the cost price of one toffee will be 1 by 3 and he wants to sell it at 1 rupees, making sure to gain 50% on it. So he wants to sell it at 150% into the cost price, that is 100%, divided by the number of toffees he can sell at 1 rupee, making sure to gain 50% of profit. So let that be X. So X will be equal to 3 into 1 by 150% into 100%. Now on dividing, we get 50 and 2. X equals to 2. So the answer to this question is option B. Manjeet bought a second-hand motorbike for rupees 22,000 and spent rupees 3,000 on its overhauling and maintenance. He then sold it with 12% profit. If he had sold it for rupees 500 less, then what would have been his profit percentage? So in this question, we know that Manjeet bought a bike for rupees 22,000 and then he spent extra 3,000 on its maintenance. Later, we find that he then sells the bike and earns a profit of 12%. The cost price of the bike is 22,000 He spends 3,000 more on its maintenance. So my total CP then becomes 25,000. He then sells the bike and earns a profit of 12%. So the profit amount is 12% of 25,000. That is rupees 3,000. And hence the selling price becomes 25,000 plus 3,000. That is rupees 28,000. Now, according to the question, they have said that what if he sold it for 500 rupees less? So, if he sold it for 500 rupees less, his new selling price would then become 28,000 minus 500. That is rupees 27,500. And then his profit would change too. The profit then becomes 27,500 minus his cost price, that is 25,000, which gives us rupees 2,500. Now his profit percentage will be profit by his cost price into 100. On dividing, we get 10%. So the answer to the question is option C. A shopkeeper bought 20 kg of rice at rupees 55 per kg, 25 kg of rice at rupees 50 per kg, and 35 kg of rice at rupees 60 per kg. He spent a sum of rupees 150 on transportation. He mixed all the three types of rice and sold all the stock at rupees 62.56 per kg. His profit percent in the entire transaction is. So in the given question, we know that the shopkeeper buys three different types of rice. The first being 20 kg of rice at rupees 55 per kg. The second being 25 kg of rice at rupees 50 per kg. And the last is 35 kg of rice at rupees 60 per kg. He then spends rupees 150 on transportation. So first let's find the total cost price. He bought 20 kg of rice at rupees 55 per kg, spending rupees 1100. Then he bought 25 kg of rice at rupees 50 per kg, spending rupees 1250. Then he bought 35 kg of rice at rupees 60 per kg, spending rupees 2100. He spends an extra of rupees 150 on transportation. So his total cost price for 80 kg of rice is rupees 4,600. Now if he bought 80 kg of rice for rupees 4,600, cost price for 1 kg will be 4,600 divided by 80. That gives us rupees 57.50. Now later in the question, they have told that the shopkeeper mixed all the three types of rice and sold the entire stock for rupees 62.56 per kg. So what was the profit that he earned? Profit equals to his selling price, that is 62.56 rupees, minus his cost price, that is 57.50, which gives us rupees 5.06. In the question, we have to find the profit percent in the entire transaction. So his profit percent is equals to his profit by his cost price into 100. Now, instead of calculating further, we could just go through the options and see if we get the answer. So, starting off with option A, we see 8% of 57.50 gives us 4.600, and 0.8% of 57.50 gives us 0.46, which gives us 5.06. So the answer to this question is 8.8%, which is option A. The cost prices of two articles A and B are in the ratio 4:5. While selling these articles, the shopkeeper gains 10% on article A and 20% on article B. And the difference in their selling prices is rupees 480. The difference in the cost prices of articles B and A is, as given in the question, the cost prices of both the articles are in the ratio 4:5. So let their cost prices be 4x and 5x respectively. Then we find out that on selling these articles, the shopkeeper gains 10% on article A and 20% on article B. So the selling price of article A is 4x plus 10% of 4x, that is 0.4x, which gives us 4.4x. On selling article B, he gains 20% profit. So his selling price becomes 5x plus 20% of 5x, that is x, which gives us 6x. Now, further in the question, they have mentioned that the difference in their selling prices is rupees 480. So the difference between the selling prices is 6x minus 4.4x, that is 1.6x. And according to the question, this is equal to rupees 480. Now, if we find the value of x, we will find the value of the difference in the cost price of articles B and A. So, x is equal to 480 divided by 1.6, which gives us rupees 300. So, our answer to the question is option D. A shopkeeper bought 40 pieces of an article at a rate of rupees 50 per item. He sold 35 pieces with 20% profit. The remaining 5 pieces were found to be damaged and he sold them at 10% loss. Find his overall profit percentage. So in this question, we already know that the shopkeeper bought 40 pieces of an article at rupees 50 per item. So his total cost price becomes 40 into rupees 50. That is rupees 2000. Now he sells the first 35 pieces at 20% profit. So a 20% profit on rupees 50 will give us 10 rupees. That is, the selling price becomes 60 rupees, which gives us rupees 2100. He sold the rest 5 pieces at a 10% loss. So his selling price for the rest 5 pieces will be 5 into 10% loss on 50 rupees means 5 rupees. So 50 minus 5, that is 45 rupees, which is rupees 225. So his total SP becomes 2100 plus 225, that is rupees 2325. Now his profit amount is equals to 2325 minus his cost price, that is 2000 rupees, which gives us rupees 325, and his profit percentage becomes 325 divided by 2000 into 100. Now on dividing we get 16.25%. So the answer to this question is option C. A trader bought 2 articles for rupees 490. He sold one at a loss of 20% and the other at a profit of 16%. If the selling price of both articles is same, then the cost price of the article sold at 20% loss is. So let the cost price of both the articles be A and B respectively. So if he sells the first article at a loss of 20%. That means he sold it at 80%. So the selling price of first article will be 80% A, and the selling price of second article will be 116% B. Now, as given in the question, the selling price of both articles is same. That means 80% A is equal to 116% B. The percentage signs get cut off, so A by B gives us 116 by 80, which is 29 by 20. Now the total here is 49. Next in the question they say that a trader bought 2 articles for 490. So the total cost price here is 490 rupees. And we are asked to find the cost price of the article sold at a loss of 20%, that is of article 1. So 490 divided by our assumed total into 29. 49 tens are, and 10 into 29 gives us rupees 290. So our answer is option A. Aditya sells 2 wristwatches from his personal collection for rupees 12,600 each. On the first watch, he gains 26%, and on the second, he loses 10%. Find the overall gain or loss percentage. So let's take both the watches as watch 1 and watch 2. Watch 1 and 2. In case of the first watch, Aditya earns a profit of 26%. So a 26% profit would mean 26 by 100, that is 13 by 50. So if 50 is my cost price, my profit is 13, and then my selling price becomes my cost price plus profit, that is 63. Now in case of the second watch, he has a loss of 10%. So a 10% loss is 1 by 10, where if 10 is my cost price, my loss is 1. And so my selling price becomes 9 rupees. Now, as according to the question, both the watches were sold at the same price. That means the selling price of both the watches are same. So now writing it in a clearer format, cost price and selling price of watch 1 and 2. So the cost price of watch 1 is 50, whereas its selling price is 63. Cost price of watch 2 is 10, whereas its selling price is 9. Now, since the selling price has to be equal, we'll multiply the cost price and selling price with 7, which will give us, as cost price is 70 and selling price then becomes 63. So total cost price now becomes 120, whereas total selling price becomes 126. Now, what is the profit earned? Profit then becomes 126 minus 120, that is rupees 6, and profit percentage then becomes 6 by 120 into 100. 20s are, 5s are. So our profit percent is 5, and the answer to this question is option D. A man sells 2 articles at rupees 9,180 each. He gains 8% on one article and loses 15% on the other. His overall profit or loss is. So in this question, a man sells 2 articles at the same price, that is 9180. In case of the first article, he earns a profit of 8%. That means he's selling it at 100. That is his total cost plus 8%, that is 108, and is having a profit of 8 rupees. In case of the second article, he's selling it at 15% loss. That means he's selling it at 85, and so he's incurring a loss of 15. We'll take it as a negative, and since this is a profit, it will be in positive. Now on calculating, we find, okay, now dividing this by 27, we get 4, 3, 40, and this becomes 2. So profit is 680 rupees. And here on dividing by 17, we get 5. 5 is 85, 4 is 0. And this becomes 3. So 540 into 3 gives us 1620 in negative. Now we'll find the net amount from here. So 1620 minus 680 gives us 049 negative. That means he had a loss of rupees 940. So our answer to this question is option C. A shopkeeper sold 2 items. The selling price of the first item equals to the cost price of the second item. He sold the first item at a profit of 20% and then sold the second item at a loss of 10%. What is his overall profit or loss percent? So he sold the item 1 at a profit of 20%. So a 20% profit would mean 1 by 5. Where if 5 is my CP, profit is rupee 1. And then the selling price becomes 5 plus 1, that is 6. In case of item 2, he sells it at 10% loss. So a 10% loss would mean 1 by 10, where my CP is 10 and loss is 1. So selling price becomes 10 minus 1, that is 9. So the cost price and selling price of item 1 and 2 are, item 1, the selling price is rupees 5 and the cost price is rupees 5 and the selling price is rupees 6. In item 2, the cost price is rupees 10 and the selling price is rupees 9. Now, according to the question, the selling price of the first item, that means this number, equals to the cost price of the second item, that means this number. These two places need to have the same number. So in order to get the same amount there, we will find the LCM of 6 and 10, which is 30. Now to make these amount equal to 30, we multiply the amounts of the first item with 5 and of the second item with 3. So now on multiplying, the amounts change to 25, 30, 30 and 27. Now my total CP is rupees 55 and my total SP is rupees 57. So what is my profit amount? Profit equals to 57 minus 55, that is rupees 2, and profit percentage is 2 by my cost price into 100. On dividing by 5, we get 11, we get 20. So this becomes 40 by 11, which further gives us 37 by 11%. So our answer is 37 by 11% of profit, which is option B. An article is sold at a certain price. If it is sold at 70% of this price, then there is a loss of 10%. What is the percentage profit when it is sold at the original selling price? So let the selling price and cost price be CP and SP respectively. CP and SP. So my cost price will be 70% of SP, because as it is said, an article sold at a certain price. if it is sold at 70% of this price, so it is sold at 70% of that selling price, and the selling price then becomes 90% of CP. Now, if you are selling something at a loss of 10%, that means you're selling it at 90%, so 90% of CP. Now, taking the SPs to CP ratio, we get 90 by 70, that is 9 by 7. Now, if the cost price of an article is 7 and we sell it at 9, how much is the profit? So, the profit amount is 9 minus 7, that is rupees 2, and profit percentage is 2 by 7 into 100, that is 200 by 7 percentage. So, our answer is option D. The profit earned by selling an article for rupees 832 is equal to the loss incurred when the article is sold for rupees 448. What will be the selling price of the article if it is sold at 10% loss? So, in the given question, we know that an article is sold at 832 and 448. So, we need to find the CP. Now, since the profit earned and the loss incurred are equal, that means we can get direct cost price from this. 448 plus 832 divided by 2, that is 1280 by 2, which gives us rupees 640. Now, in the later part of the question, it is told that what will be the selling price of the article if it is sold at 10% loss. So, the 10% loss on 640 is rupees 64. So, then the selling price becomes rupees 640 minus rupees 64, which gives us rupees 576. So, our answer to this question is option C. A person sold an article at a loss of 18%. Had he sold it for rupees 960 more, he would have gained 12% profit. If the article is sold for rupees 3840, then how much is the profit percentage? So, in this question, it is told that if a person sells the article at rupees 960 more, not only will he cover the loss that he has incurred, but also make an extra profit of 12%. So, in order to earn the 12% profit, he has to sell the article at a profit of 18 plus 12%, that is 30%. And according to the given question, 30% profit is equal to rupees 960. Now, if 30% is equal to 960, what will be the value of 100%? 100% will be equal to 960 by 30 into 100, that is rupees 3200. Now, this is our cost price. Given selling price is 3840, then the gain amount will be my selling price minus cost price, that is rupees 640, and gain percentage then becomes profit by cost price into 100. 0 gets cut, 20, that is 20%. So, our answer to the question is option A. Tea seller used to make 50% of profit by selling tea at 9 per cup. When the cost of ingredients increased by 25%, he started selling tea at rupees 10 per cup. What is his profit percentage now? So, in the given question, we know that when the tea seller was selling tea at rupees 9 per cup, he earned a profit of 50%. So, his cost price then becomes rupees 9 by 100 plus 50, that is 150% into 100%. On dividing by 3, we get 52, that is rupees 6. Now, the next thing told is that the cost of ingredients increased by 25%. So, 25% will mean 1 by 4 or 1.5. So, his cost price increases and becomes 6 plus 1.5, that is rupees 7.5. Now, when the cost of ingredients increased, he started selling the tea at rupees 10 per cup. So, his selling price now is 10. Profit then becomes rupees 10 minus rupees 7.5, that is rupees 2.5. And then the profit percentage is 2.5 by 7.5 into 100. On dividing, we get 3, that is 100 by 3, which gives us 33, 1 by 3%. So our answer to the question is option A. A shopkeeper bought 60 pencils at a rate of 4 for rupees 5 and another 60 pencils at a rate of 2 for rupees 3. He mixed all the pencils and sold them at a rate of 3 for rupees 4. Find his gain or loss percentage. So in this question, we know that a shopkeeper bought 60 pencils at a rate of 4 for rupees 5. That means the cost of one pencil will be rupees 5 by 4. So the cost price of the first 60 pencils will be rupees 5 by 4 into 60, which is by 15, that is rupees 75. Now he then bought another 60 pencils at a rate of 2 for rupees 3. That means the cost of one pencil is 3 by 2. So the cost price of the other 60 pencils will be 3 by 2 into 60, that is by 30, gives us rupees 90. Now he bought 60 plus 60, 120 pencils in total. So total 120 pencils costed him rupees 75 plus 90, that is rupees 165. Now he then later mixed all the pencils and sold them at a rate of 3 for rupees 1. So he sold them at a rate of 3 for rupees 1. That means he sold one pencil for rupees 4 by 3. So the selling price of 120 pencils will be 4 by 3 into 120, 40, which is rupees 160. Now since our selling price is less than the cost price, there was a loss. So loss amount equals to cost price minus selling price, that is rupees 5, and loss percentage equals to loss by cost price into 100. 1s are 33s are, that is 100 by 33, which gives us 1 by 33% of loss. So our answer is option D. A person bought a book at 31% discount on the marked price or the listed price. If no discount was given, then he would have to pay rupees 2,480 more. How much did he pay for the book? So let's assume the marked price when the discount was given is rupees 100. Then the selling price after deducting discount would be rupees 100 minus 31% of 100, that is rupees 31, which comes down to rupees 69. If no discount was given, then he would have to pay rupees 2,480 more, which means 2,480 more is equal to 31% discount. So in order to find how much he paid for the book, we will take the extra amount that he pays divided by the discount amount into the selling price after the discount is given. So on dividing, we find 31 8s are 248, a 0. 80 into 69 gives us rupees 5,520. So our answer is option C. A shopkeeper buys an article at 30% discount on its marked price and sells it at 5% discount on its marked price. If he earns a profit of rupees 65, then what is the marked price of the article? So let's assume that the marked price when the shopkeeper buys it is rupees 100. So if he bought the article at 30% discount, that means his cost price becomes rupees 100 minus 30% discount, that is rupees 30, which gives us rupees 70 as his cost price. Now he further sells the article at 5% discount on its marked price. That means his selling price becomes rupees 100 minus rupees 5, that is 5% of 100, which is rupees 95. Now the profit he earned here is equal to rupees 95 minus rupees 70, which is rupees 25. But according to the question, the profit he earned is rupees 65. So in order to find the marked price, we will put the actual profit he earned divided by our assumed profit into the assumed marked price. So on dividing 100 by 25, we get 4, and this gives us 0.26. So the marked price of the article is rupees 260, that is option A. An item costs rupees 400. During a festival sale, a company offers a sale discount that offers X percentage off on its regular price, along with a discount coupon of 10%. The price of the item after using both the sale discount and the coupon discount is rupees 216. What is the value of X? So given in the question, we already know that the cost price of the item was rupees 400, and as it was sold at a 10% discount, then the selling price becomes 400 minus 10% of 400, that is rupees 360. Now after giving both the discounts, that is the sale discount as well as the coupon discount, the price of the item ends up to be rupees 216. So the discount given is equal to rupees 360 minus rupees 216. That gives us rupees 144. Now we are asked to find the value of X. So X percentage equals to discount amount by 360 into 100. On dividing, we find that 36 into 4 gives us 144, and 4 tens are 40. So the value of X is 40, and the answer to this question is option D. Shopkeeper announces a discount of 48% and then a further discount of 15%. What is the final sale price of a sofa costing 29,600 and what is the discount? So in the given question, we know that the cost price of the sofa is 29,600 and the given discounts are 48% and 15%. So using the effective discount formula, we find D1 plus D2, that is 48 plus 15 minus D1 into D2 by 100, which gives us 63 minus 720 by 100, that is 7.2, which gives us 55.8% as the total discount percentage. Now, discount amount is equal to 29,600 into 55.8 by 100. 0 gets cancelled. So, discount amount is rupees 16,506.8, which is rounded off to rupees 16,570. Now the selling price then becomes 29,600 minus the discount amount. That gives us rupees 13,083. So the answer to this question is option C. A shopkeeper marks his goods at a price 20% higher than the cost price and allows a 10% discount on every item. Find his gain percentage. So let's assume that the cost price of the good was rupees 100. And if he marks it at 20% higher than the cost price, so his mark price will be 20% above 100 rupees. That is, mark price will be 120. And then he allows a 10% discount. So after a 10% discount, the selling price will be 120 minus 10% of 120, that is 120 minus 12, which will give us rupees 108. Now, so the profit amount becomes, profit is equal to 108 minus 100, that is 8 rupees, and profit percentage is equal to 8 by cost price into 100. So the profit percentage is 8%, and our answer to the question is option B. A shopkeeper bought 80 kg of rice at a discount of 10%. Besides, 1 kg rice was offered free to him on the purchase of every 20 kg rice. If he sells the rice at marked price, his profit percentage will be. Let's assume that the cost price of 1 kg rice is rupee 1. So he was supposed to buy it at 80 rupees, but he got a discount of 10%. So his cost price will be rupees 80 minus a 10% discount on 80, that is rupees 8. So he bought 80 kg of rice at rupees 72. Now he received 1 kg rice free on the purchase of every 20 kg rice. So he got 4 kg rice extra. The total rice he had was 84 kg, and he sold the entire lot at the marked price, which was rupees 1. So his selling price is rupees 84. Now profit amount is equal to 84 minus 72, that is rupees 12, and then the profit percentage is equal to 12 by 72 into 100. On dividing we get 6, so 100 by 6 we get 16, 2 by 3 percentage. So the answer to this question is option B. The marked price of an article is rupees 625. After allowing a discount of 32% on the marked price, there was a profit of rupees 25. The profit percentage is, so given in the question the marked price of an article is 625 and a discount of 32% was given. That means it was sold at 68% of the marked price. So selling price is 625 into 68 by 100. On dividing by 25 we get 4 17s. So selling price equals to rupees 425. Now it is given that the profit earned is rupees 25 and my selling price is 425. So cost price equals to selling price minus profit. That gives us rupees 400. Now the profit is known, the cost price is here. The profit percentage is equals to profit by cost price into 100. 25 by 4 gives us 6.25%. So the answer to this question is option C. A man started off a business with a certain capital amount. In the first year, he earned 60% profit and donated 50% of the total capital. He followed the same procedure with the remaining capital after the second and the third year. If at the end of the 3 years he is left with rupees 15,360, what was the initial amount with which the man started his business? So let the initial amount in the beginning of year 1 be rupees 1,000. rupees 1000. So he earned a profit of 60% on 1000 rupees, that is rupees 600, and is left with 1600 towards the end of the first year. He then donates 50% of it and starts the second year with the other half. So he starts second year with 800, earns another 60% profit, that is rupees 480. Now this sums up to rupees 1280. Then donates another 50%, that is 640 rupees, and starts year 3 with the other half, that is 640. He then earns a profit of 60% again, which is rupees 384. This adds up to rupees 1024. He again donates 50% of it, that is 512, and is left with the other 50%, that is 512. So according to our assumption, he has rupees 512 left with him at the end of 3 years. But according to the question, he has rupees 15,360 with him at the end of those 3 years. So in order to find the amount with which he started the business, we will put the amount he has at the end of 3 years divided by the amount we assumed that he had at the end of 3 years into our assumed capital or initial amount with which he started his business. Now on dividing, we see that 512 twos are 1024. So 512 threes are 1536, 0. So this amounts to rupees 30,000. So the answer to this question is option B. A dishonest dealer defrauds to the extent of X% in buying as well as selling his goods by using faulty weight. What will be the gain percent on his outlay? So if he paid 100 rupees for a good, he earned X% in buying and another X% when he sold it. So this becomes successive. Now his profit percent then becomes X plus X plus X into X by 100. That is 2X plus X square by 100. So the profit percent he earns is 2x plus x square by 100%, that is option C. A shopkeeper bought a table for rupees 4,600 and a chair for rupees 1,800. He sells the table with 10% gain and chair at 6%. Find the overall gain percentage. So he bought the table at 4,600 and he bought the chair at 1,800. Instead of using these amounts for calculation, we can simply find their ratios, that is 23:9. So he sold the table at 10% gain and he sold the chair at 6% gain. So we find the totals and get 230 plus 9 6 are 54 divided by 32, that is 23 plus 9. From here we get 284 divided by 32. That is 32 8s are 256. We are left with 28 by 32. On dividing this further with 4, we get 7 by 8. So our answer is 7 by 8%. That is option A.